Orcas, otherwise known colloquially as killer whales, are mammalian apex predators that inhabit the Earth's oceans, with their wide range spanning from Arctic to Antarctic waters and everywhere in between. Notably, despite being widely known as killer whales, in actuality, orcas are in fact the largest extant species of oceanic dolphins, hence their body's closer resemblance to those of other species of dolphins, rather than to those of other whale species. Like many oceanic dolphins, orcas are known to exhibit a high level of intelligence, as they have been observed utilizing a number of different tactics whilst hunting their prey, including swamping or capsizing floating objects to plunge prey resting atop them into the water with them. And as they usually hunt in pods, the individual members of the pod will work together in tandem to surround their prey. These powerful predators prey upon a number of different animals, including numerous species of fish and other smaller species of oceanic dolphins and porpoises, which notably the orcas will chase through the water until their prey is completely exhausted, as well as preying upon several species of seals and sea lions as well. Furthermore, orcas have been recorded hunting prey that even other apex predators such as sharks will avoid attacking, such as sperm whales and gray whales, and orcas have even been documented successfully hunting even blue whales, the largest living animals on the planet. Such predatory marvels are truly indicative of the power and size of orcas, as males range in size from between 20 to 32 feet long and weigh between 11,800 pounds and 22,000 pounds, and females range in their size from 16 to 28 feet long and typically weigh between 6,000 and 8,000 pounds. Blessed with both their immense physical size and their cunning, orcas are truly fearsome apex predators, virtually unrivaled in their power, even by other apex predators like the incredibly versatile and efficient saltwater crocodile, which I covered in a massive, over 2-hour-long video a few months back. Now, if this video were to only detail the deadly orca attacks against humans that have occurred in the wild, it would look something like this. Thank you all for watching. This may come as a bit of a surprise for those of you who haven't happened to watch my YouTube short that detailed a deadly leopard seal attack on a researcher snorkeling in Antarctica. But despite numerous encounters in which orcas have been observed acting in a hostile manner towards humans and their vessels, there have actually been no documented lethal orca encounters in the wild, seemingly a display of their overall intelligence, as they have been observed avoiding attacking humans after capsizing their vessels, and in the rare instances when people have been attacked by orcas, they often are quick to release human victims from their mighty jaws after attacking them. However, while there have been no reported orca-related fatalities in the wild, the same cannot be said for orcas held in captivity, as many of these massive, intelligent predators tend to exhibit increased aggression towards humans while in captivity. Due to their close relation to other species of oceanic dolphins, orcas, notably, as I mentioned previously, are rather intelligent and can similarly be trained to perform rather complex routines, and thus are often exhibited as attractions at marine life-based amusement parks, and these orca shows are often the marquee attraction for such parks. The first documented fatal orca attack would take place on February 20th, 1991, at a marine theme park, Sealand of the Pacific, located in Victoria, British Columbia. The deadly encounter would occur when one of the show's part-time trainers, a 20-year-old woman named Kelty Byrne, fell into the orca tank, which was inhabited by 3 orcas named Tilikum, Haida 2, and Nootka 4. After she fell into the water, Nootka 4 would swiftly approach her and bit down on Kelty's leg with her powerful jaws. Witnesses of the incident reported that after Kelty was bitten by Nootka 4, she was dragged to the center of the tank and was subsequently released, as Nootka 4 and the other orcas in the tank surrounded her and menacingly circled the stricken woman in the water. The trio of orcas would continue to circle around her in the tank and would push her back towards the center whenever she tried to swim to the edge to safety. Furthermore, the aggressive orcas would inhibit rescue efforts attempted by other trainers as they continued to surround Kelty in the water. After several hours, Kelty had grown thoroughly exhausted and, as a result, was no longer able to exert the energy necessary to keep her head afloat, and thus she would ultimately drown in the center of the tank. In the aftermath of the incident, Sealand's reputation would plummet, and the park would close the following year, with the orcas involved in the attack being sold to the American marine theme park giant SeaWorld. Orca behavioral experts would state that the attack had likely occurred due to both Nootka 4 and Haida 2 being pregnant, with the latter giving birth to her calf just a few days after the deadly incident. The subsequent fatal orca attack would take place on July 5th, 1999, at SeaWorld Orlando in Florida. In a very distinctly Florida fashion, this incident would occur when a man named Daniel Dukes found a hiding spot while visiting the park during the daytime, and he would remain there until well after business hours had passed and after the park's employees had gone home for the evening, whereupon Daniel would emerge from his hiding spot and subsequently made his way towards the park's orca tank. Upon reaching the tank, Daniel removed all of his clothes and subsequently leapt into the water for a late-night skinny dip with the orcas in the tank. The following morning, when trainers arrived at the park, they were shocked to discover Daniel's nude and lifeless remains floating within the orca tank. Upon closer inspection of Daniel's remains and of the orcas in the tank, it was determined that after he entered the water, Daniel had likely been attacked by one of the very same orcas that had been involved in the previous deadly incident at Sealand, Tilikum, as Daniel's body bore bite marks that matched his jaw, and furthermore, Daniel's scrotum had been ripped open during the attack. In wake of the incident, SeaWorld was ultimately not held liable for Daniel Dukes' death, as he had deliberately hidden within the park until everyone had left and had crossed several barriers to reach the accessible part of the orca tank. No traces of drugs or alcohol were detected in Daniel's body following an autopsy of his remains. The next deadly incident would occur just over a decade later at Loro Park, located in the country of Spain. On December 24th, 2009, a group of trainers and orcas were in the midst of a rehearsal for their special Christmas show when one of the trainers, a 29-year-old man named Alexis Martinez, was suddenly bitten by one of the park's bull orcas named Keto, who clamped his powerful jaws onto and sunk his sharp teeth into Alexis's chest. Keto would soon after release Alexis from his jaws, where he was then rescued from within the water by fellow trainers and was rushed to the hospital for medical treatment. Unfortunately, however, Alexis would ultimately succumb to his injuries at the hospital, with doctors noting that he had suffered multiple compression fractures and torn internal organs as a result of the orca's powerful bite. In wake of the incident, other trainers from the park who had witnessed the deadly encounter would state that they believed the attack had come as the result of some friendly roughhousing between Keto and Alexis that had gone awry. However, some trainers working at the park at the time would also note that the attack could have been more malicious in its nature as well, as Keto had become renowned amongst the trainers for his unpredictable behavior. The next deadly orca attack would occur just a few months later at SeaWorld Orlando on February 24th, 2010. That afternoon, guests had just finished viewing one of the park's regular shows, Dine with Shamu, with the show's trainers gathering along the edge of the tank as usual. However, while one of the show's veteran trainers, a woman named Dawn Brancho, was standing along the edge of the tank, facing away from the water, suddenly a large bull orca emerged from the tank behind her and yanked her into the water by her ponytail, although notably whether the orca grabbed her by her hair is disputed by several witnesses of the attack, which insisted that it had grabbed a hold of her forearm instead. The bull orca would bite Dawn several more times following the initial attack, and would hold her beneath the water near the bottom center of the tank until she ultimately drowned, with her official cause of death being listed as multiple traumatic injuries along with drowning. The bull orca who attacked Dawn was none other than Tilikum, the same orca who had been involved in 2 of the previous 3 deadly incidents. Tilikum would eventually die in 2017, leaving behind his legacy as the true killer whale, having been involved in 75% of orca-related human fatalities. Thank you all for watching.